Morning, everyone. How we doing? What's going on? Make sure I got everything set up here. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you guys for tuning in, as always. Let's see what we got for Apex. Hopefully I didn't leave anything open last night. Beautiful. Man, I gotta stop selling these trades early. It stinks. 1.07% gap, very nice. We'll get edgeful up and we'll get the other. I'll wear it out for the stream. What's going on, 5 points? How you doing? Good morning. Could have just longed one MNQ last night and stayed in that forever. Well, sad that I didn't just hold it for the entire night, but what you gonna do? We had I'll cover it throughout the stream today, but the whole reason that we are looking at this pump is because we had an end of conflict in Iran. So no reason for us to have any war issues or worries. $400-point move up overnight, though. That's pretty crazy. All right. So market data today. We don't really have anything that significant. Business inventories and existing home sales. That's about it. Oh, we're on Thursday. What am I saying? Yeah, we don't have anything. We have a couple of speakers, a whole lot of speakers, actually. We have Bostic, 835, 915, Michael Barr, Tom Barkin, and then Jeff Schmid. Not too much else. No significant data for a gap fill by size. Go over to Qs. You can see that we have a pretty good chance of not filling the gap today. This is only 25% of the gap as well. So we only have a 60% chance of filling 25% of the gap, meaning that to open, we'd be anticipating a slight drop down to like 625 and then up. No previous day in London gap, which is good. Are all these on 3 minutes? They are. That's why I look a little weird. So no previous day in London gap. We are an outside day right now. So what I will be looking for is pretty much maintaining a bullish bias on the initial bounce once it's formed. We have an outside day, so we're not within previous day's range. And then for the IB, what I'll be expecting, and this is the gap fill by size, 60% chance we fill 20% of it. 50%, probably a lot lower as well. So only a 40% chance we fill 50% of it. And then for the entire gap, which is very unlikely that we have a fill down, it's only looking at a 20%, 1 in 5 chance that we fill this. So on Qs, what I'll be anticipating is probably a move down to London 50, maybe, if we get lucky enough to get that far. And then we might even try long at London 50 today, as long as it's after the opening candle. We won't be taking one on the opening candle. What date is this for? Is this live? This is live. Yes, I'm live right now. This is a live stream, not a recording. And then for inside bar, we don't have that. We have an outside bar today. Usually we go and retest, which is going to be on the way if we get a retest of London 50 anyway. So it all lines up with a retest of previous day's high. We kind of already did retest previous day's high. If we go to the 24-hour as well, you guys can see just how tight this trend is getting. So we have a pretty nice wick down through that trend line bottom from yesterday. Came all the way back up, closed over it, and now we're rejecting off of the top just barely. So I am anticipating probably a break of the high. Ultimately today, what I want to see, and this is just basing it off of the gap fill report, I want to see us maintain this gap. I don't want to see a continuation through it. So we should manage to hold this gap down today, which I'll actually take a screenshot of this. Do a little post on this. So we should see this gap hold, and then only a 60% chance that we fill 25% of it. So it's not that likely that we even have a dip down. And then for the IB, hopefully we form a low, which ideally we get a wick down to London 50. That forms our low first, and then we just continue pushing up. Good news is if we do break this today, we have a lot of upside potential. The only thing that will be resisting that upside move is going to be Trump's tariffs, but we don't have a vote on that until at least next Tuesday. They take, every time they delay a vote, it takes 3 business days for them to get it back in. So last Friday came to yesterday. We don't have the market open on Monday because it is Martin Luther King Day. So it'll be next Tuesday that we get the next vote for Trump's tariffs. So bullish bias, unless we start closing underneath London 50, London low. If we manage to get all the way down to previous day's 50, that's pretty much the entire gap filled. I don't think that we're going to have a move all the way down there. So just looking for a retest of the gap, or the size of the gap that we have right now. Just looking for a retest of London 50. And that does it for the next 20 minutes. If you guys have any questions on other reports you want to take a look at, I don't really have anything else. Just have to wait. So I don't think you can, you can't refine it to weekdays, unfortunately. You can only do the gap fill by size. You can do gaps for weekdays alone, but then that kind of defeats the point of looking at the gap fill by size. What's going on, Brett? How you doing? Good morning. I don't have a mic on my computer, but one question I have is: the instrument do you trade on Tradevate? Yes. Yeah. Just for these Apex accounts. Once I get a payout on these, we might go back to trading on Project X, but then again, we only have a month to trade on them before they get removed from Tradevate. Not Tradevate, sorry. Before they get removed from Tradeify and Lucid. But I did unfortunately blow those Lucid 25Ks after the last payout. Got a little oversized on them. So now with the bullish momentum, we wait for the retrace of the London 50 to take bullish trades. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm not going to be trading the first 15-minute candle anyway. We never do. But ideally, 9:45, that candle closes. We have a nice close over. We have a close as close as possible to London 50, and then we can go up. What do we do if it doesn't retrace? Then we just trade the IB, or we can take a long over London high. London 50 is 624.33. You can see, funny enough, after London 50 gets formed, a lot of the time there's a pretty key resistance level, support resistance level there. You can see all of the candles that formed underneath 624.30. And then once we broke over that at 6 a.m. this morning, all the retest and then continuation up. That's about it. Gap fill yesterday's means regular trading hours close and today's regular trading open. Yes. So our gap fill, you just base it off of down here in the bottom right. We're gapped up 1.06%, $6.57. I had a dumb moment and thought I had to make a TradeFi account. Yeah, you get one 5.2. What's going on, Bob? You get one when you purchase any of the prop firms with Trade-of-8. So 80% chance that we do not fill the gap, meaning I love seeing 80-20 stats because those ones are as accurate as can be. Even if we can go to 3 years out, it's not going to change it very much. 3 years out, we only have a 10% chance of filling this gap. But I do tend to just look at the past 6 months of price action. Only a 1 in 10 that we have a gap fill today. If it does end up filling, that's not only extremely rare, but just kind of tip your hat to it. So be it. And along with that, if it does fill, so say we get an IB high form first at like 627.08, maybe a little bit higher. And then we come all the way down to 621.98. We may not even anticipate a move all the way to that 619.60, which is where we closed yesterday at, I believe. So it all seems like a pretty nasty fake out with that price action that we had yesterday. Pretty disappointed that I did miss the IB low, but it all ended up coming back. And we actually are well above previous day's high right now, even for regular trading hours. So I think it was wise not to believe that. Even though it did end up playing out, it's still disappointing there. But also, two of the plays, this is obviously not on stream, but two of the plays that we had last night, MNQ longs, could have just held those. I think those maybe went from where my entry was, maybe went into 12 points of drawdown, 13, and then a 400-point run up. And then the one that really kicks me, because this is 3 nights in a row that I've alerted this, and then we've only taken a little bit out. The reason I got out of this one so early was because I did not anticipate that we were going to hold it for damn near 50 minutes. So I didn't want to hold it through Asia Open, 8 p.m. And then it would have wicked me out at break even, which is where I had the stop moved up to. But then it ultimately dropped all the way to the price target I had, which was 4,602. So I might have had the stop too close, sadly. 4,602, and then all the way down to 4,588 would have been another $300 on one MGC. I got out with for 46, 44. But starting the day green again. We are $210, 230 away on some of them, 210, 300 away from payout with Apex today. So if we have a good IB, we don't flop like we did yesterday, we can get the payout after hours today, which I might request because I am slightly worried just from reviews of what people have. I don't know if they will deny me or not, but if they do deny my payout for whatever reason, saying that I need to show what my trading strategy is or whatever it might be, then I have another 8 days to trade and we can run the account up to that 27.6, which is where I'd like to take it anyway. How many lots do you trade on MGC on 50K funded account? It would just be 2 then. 50K would be 2 MGC. I only take 1 on the 25Ks. Just very disappointed that 3 nights in a row I've missed that move. I took on yesterday morning, 2 days ago, I took longs on this trend line break right at 6:30 and sold it for $70 profit, I think, and missed another $400, pushed up another 40 points, and then the same exact thing on Monday right here. Longed, missed another 50 points, longed, missed another 40 points. So I guess 4 nights in a row. It is what it is. So very, not necessarily bullish, just not anticipating a gap fill. What's going on? How you doing, Matthew? The reason for the pump was Iran conflict being over. Yeah, I think that's the reason for it. I don't think it was just off of TSM because it's not up that much off earnings. It's up 5%, but I don't think that would correlate over to a 1% move up on everything. Because even SPY is gapped up 0.5% right now, which is pretty significant. But I think it was last night at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, Trump said that the killing in Iran has ceased. So I'm assuming that's what the gap up is off. On funded stage, is it better to trade on 1 MGC and build a buffer since it's so hard to pass on evaluation? If you're on Lucid, just take your time with it. There's no reason to rush anything. What are you gonna say, Matthew? Thank you, Jones boys. Yeah, it's because we have the market's closed on Monday, and then Tuesday is not really going to be that exciting either. This is a no data Tuesday. Another big reason it's so low is because we've been riding sub 16 on the VIX for the better part of 3 months now. It'll come back once we're out of this pennant. This has been since October 28th. We've been consolidating within this very tight range. And this has until it comes to a point on January 27th. So we have at most another 12 trading days, 12 calendar days. So like 8 trading days until this thing breaks. 7 trading days at most. Are you hunting trip? Where are you going? What are you hunting for? Hogs? I know. A naked call? There you go. Yeah, we're making a new high right now. So I'm going to use the 3-year measure because I just realized the 8-year time frame only has 5 data points for this. So we only have a 10% chance of having this gap filled, which is very significant. 90% chance that we don't. So we're just going to be looking for price action to maintain upside. Copy link. Good morning, guys. What's going on, Chris? Quang, how you doing? Only Apex charges monthly fees, no other prop charges, I think. Lucid's one of the few that doesn't charge monthly fees for the account that you get. I am going to be looking to catch a retracement for long. I don't think we're going to get lucky enough to get downward momentum into open. I want this London 50 to hit preferably because we kind of already missed the retest pre-market right here. I want the London 50 to preferably hit at 10. Oh, funded has no monthly recurring. That's why the entire point of what I'm pushing is taking your time. And there's no monthly fee on trading these accounts. That's why I'm in no rush whatsoever. The highest one looks like my 16th account. That one's at 26,394, so $206. Then I can take a payout out of these. 206 to 300, which I'm not in a rush to make today. If it ends up being tomorrow or the next day or the day after that, so be it. It would have been yesterday had we taken the IB trade. 50% on MNQ, I do not know. I don't know. I don't measure it on MNQ. I would say it probably lines up with... The reason I don't is because you can see these candles are, even these ones pre-market, from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., 7:30 even. This doesn't look the same as it looks on Qs. But it would line up with about 25,830. We should pretty easily go to 26 today. We don't have any resistance up until 26. And we have support at 25.9. 25.9 is a pretty key psych level as well. See all the rejections that we had there on Tuesday, I think. And we had more rejections there on Monday. So we just need to get through 26. How much was your total investment? It was $1,900 for the 20 Apex accounts. I did fail 9 of them, but I got them on their 90% off sale. So they were 19. So I blew through $180 on the 9. No, there's no monthly fee on the funded accounts. There's a monthly fee on the Apex evals, but there's no monthly fee on the funded accounts. So once you fund them, you have no requirement to rush. What Steve told me is that, and it makes perfect sense, thank you, Steve, is if you don't pass on, that's why I told you last night too, KP, if you don't pass the Apex accounts, let's say you're at like 28 days into trading them, you're better off full pouring the account and then either blowing it or passing it and then buying a new account, because it will be cheaper. The rebill is like $85 to $100 depending on what their sale is for the second month anyway. For the first month, it's either 19 or 38 depending on if you get 80% off or 90% off. And the higher we go right here, the less likely it is we get that 620. This is a $3 pullback that we're looking for, which probably isn't going to be all that likely. And based on, let's go to 3 years on this. And then we'll do 25% of the gap getting filled. So that is pretty much a 50-50 chance that we even get that, which is down to where London 50 is. Very slim chance that we even get a retracement of this gap because of the strength behind it. The more important factor here, the bias, the screener doesn't show prior to open, so that doesn't do anything. The more important factor here is that we are over the trend line top right now. So we're either going to wick down and stay within the trend, which would mean that we would fill this gap, but probably not today. We'd fill it tomorrow or next Tuesday. Or this thing just blast off and we have like a 2.5% day today. Those are our two outcomes. Staying within the trend, or we have some crazy upside. Yep, go for it. Bottom right. Yeah. 1.22, yeah. The green one below it, you see pre-market? Yep. So that's in the fifth bracket here, 1 to 1.49. That's, yep. So if I was on, it's difficult to see because I'm not on regular trading hours, but it's the gap from this candle close right here. Yesterday's 4 a.m. close to wherever we happen to open today. So that's the gap it's referring to. So this is the gap right there because we just, yep, that's the gap. Yeah, this one doesn't mean anything. This is just the overnight session. This is from 8 p.m. last night to 4. Yep. Yep. KP said it's NDOG. What a funny abbreviation. So we're at previous day's high right now. That might be the extent of what we get for a pullback. We're not taking anything on the first 15 minute, as always. But I don't think we're going to get much lower than, look at the explosion off of that already. The dollar wick right back up. We'd be lucky to get London 50 today. Finally, though, Bob, back-to-back days where London 50s worked. Yesterday, we got a pretty good retest of it. We missed it by a couple of cents on Qs, but M and Q hit it. That's what Steve took. And then for today's gap, continuation all night, bullish bias. You're looking for a pullback, and then you want to re-enter trend with London 50 if we get down to it. I don't think we will. How many days did it take to complete the eval, and why not 50K accounts until a good drawdown? 50K accounts, you need to make 2,500 as opposed to 1,500, so it's another $1,000. And the reason I didn't do the 50K accounts is I don't care about sizing up with anything. So it's another $1,000 might not seem like much if you're trading 4 M&Q or 5 M&Q, but with me only doing 1 to 2, there's no reason for me to have another 1,000 in drawdown. At the same time, also having another 1,000 I have to target. I don't think we're going to get lucky enough to get a pullback past where we are right now. There you go, Steve. Brought back. Okay, go to my lives. Live. There we go. Can update. Anyone else get hit with the Verizon outage yesterday from like noon until 6 or 7 at night? I left I went to the gym at like 1 o'clock yesterday. Couldn't do anything. Don't even do that, KP. Oh, mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought my phone broke because last time that happened, my SIM card was all messed up. 6S said, why not size up with your risk depending on stop instead of defaulting on one MNQ? Maybe you have a 10-point stop one day and a 50-point another day. Or do you simply do it to averages over time? Well, the stops that I have, unless it's a Asia trade. So like last night, I took these shorts on MGC. I had a 5-point stop on it. I could have sized up with it. I was risking $50. I didn't really care to because, I mean, it did make the entire move that I wanted. It would have been 200 profit if I didn't freaking paper hand it. But for the IB trade, like yesterday's range was 130 points. So my stop loss is 130 points. My take profit's 130 points. 260 risk, 260 reward. I don't see a reason to size up to even 4 MNQ on that. It's too much risk. Almost to London 50, but it is fighting to stay above. SPY and Qs are doing the same thing today. That's good. They're lined up. But you could get a bigger payout cap, isn't it? If I get a payout on these accounts, if I get it today, it's 10,000. If I make these accounts get to 27.1, it's a 20,000 payout. If I get them to 27.6, it's a 30,000 payout. I don't think anything about those is small, any of those payouts. It's not realistic to think that you're going to go and get a 25K or 50K payout just because you see a couple people on social media do it. Especially the guys that have the money to just blow through evals and they go and get 15 silver longs and either blow the accounts, they don't say anything about that, or they go and make $200,000 per account and then post all about that. It's not realistic. What is realistic is taking trades that are not stressful and not going to make you pull your hair out, not going to make you blow the accounts, and stacking those over multiple days. It took me 3 days to pass him, even though that's not what I tell people to do. Lucid, if you're struggling to get payouts, Lucid's the one to go with for your first account because there's no rush in passing the evaluation. So once you, like, this is how I'm thinking to myself how I went about getting these Apex accounts. On November 28th, I put $350 into 5 Lucids. Those are the 5 Lucid 25K accounts. Took me 13 days to pass those evals just because the price action was so bad. And that took me another 8 days to get the payout on those accounts. So at 350, I turned to 5,000 in like 21 trading days. It was pretty much the entire month of December. And then I got another payout on them on December 28th. So 350 to 10,000. And then that 10,000, I used 1,900 of it to get these 20 Apex accounts. That was all in. So the way I'm thinking of it, yeah, I've spent 2,300, 2,200, but realistically, I've only spent 350 of my own money because I used the payouts from Lucid to get these. And that's why I rushed a little bit on the Apex accounts, because I have the capital to do so. London 50 is 4 a.m. to 9. London 50 is 4 a.m. to 9:30, right at open. And then previous day's 50 is 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Any high or low in that range. IB is 9:30 to 10:30. Quick question: do you take all your trades in one account, copy them over 20? Yes, yes, I do. So my leader account is this one, performance account 1, and then that gets group traded over all of these accounts, 1 through 20. So all of them copy trade the same thing. Are you able to write off this Discord as a tax write-off since it contributes to company profits when it comes to maximizing tax savings? I saw you could, but wasn't from a professional. I don't know what I would write off from the Discord. It's not like it really has. The only expense that I have for the Discord is Nitro. That's it. There's nothing else you have to pay for Discord. So I can write off like $22 a month for the past 12 months. I mean, 1,200. Oh, you can write it off. KP. I thought you were talking about me. Yeah, you can write it off. You can write off what you pay because it's essentially the same as you going to like a workspace or a coffee shop to do your work. And you can write off what you pay as long as you're working with your coworkers. Can we copy trade Lucid eval accounts or only funded accounts? You can copy trade all 5 of your Lucid accounts. Yeah, Mike. I heard Elite Funded Trader also supports 20 accounts. I have no idea. I haven't tried them. I know Roland in here just got moved to live with him. He hadn't even taken a payout first. You can write off your full Wi-Fi bill, KP. Percentage. The percentage one is writing off a percent of. Obviously, none of this is solid advice because I'm not a verified CPA. This is just what I do. You write off a percent of what your rent or your mortgage is for whatever your office space is. So since this room is what I stream in, say it's like 300 square feet and my house is, let's say, 1,200 square feet, I can write off a quarter of my mortgage because I use this just for office space. And you don't have to have an LLC to do this either. You can do it under your own name. The LLC benefits just a little more you can write off. That's negligible for the capital that we're making. You can write off your Wi-Fi bill. You can write off your phone bill if you use your phone to trade on. You can write off your fees for evals. The only thing is that you have to have a payout. You can't write off eval fees if you've never gotten a payout because you need to show some kind of profit. So even if you only make a couple thousand. Oh. What's going on, Andre? How you doing?
What's up? What's up? How are you, man?
Glad to have you in.
I know it's been a minute. I've been telling you that I'm going to join. I've been getting caught up in everything, so I'm happy to finally be able to join.
I was wondering what that noise was. Welcome in.
All right. What do you think about the new update, by the way, of the platform?
I like it. Took me a little bit to figure out where everything was. The only downside I will say is that for the first time uploading all the reports, it took a little extra time.
The first time loading them up?
Yeah. Now it's faster than it was before the update.
Yeah, we actually, there was an issue with it. We fixed it last night. So now,
Awesome.
yeah, now everything should be a lot faster.
Yep.
But yeah, when we pushed the update, everything slowed down once we like pushed it publicly, which is really weird because that usually doesn't happen. But then once, like pretty much we had told our dev team, hey, everyone, like this is the biggest priority. You have to fix this. And that was it. And now it's fixed.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't had any issues with it. I'm not really looking at too much for movement right now. I was just talking about the gap fill report that we have a 10% chance of filling this gap we made today. It's a bullish bias from me.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you wanted me to show you the templates. I can show you quickly.
Yeah.
But I'll pull up my screen one sec.
I see it in the top right. I just haven't looked through the templates over here.
Yeah. So, all right. The way that this works is instead of right now, the way that switching from a 100% gap fill to a 50% to a 25%, the way that it works is you have to go to the gap fill report, you click customize, you click over here, then you go to 50%, and you click again, right? And then once you do that, it will load the 50% data. If you know that you're going to be switching from the 100% to the 50% very often, what you'd want to do is, or actually in this case, I'm at the 50% now. Let me just delete this one sec. Okay. Let's just say now that, give me a second. Okay. I should have probably removed that before, but now I want to save this 50% customization. So every time that I want to go to it, I only have to click once instead of clicking 5 times. I go over here, I just click save as new template, and I would type in gap fill 50%. My customization here is set to 50%. Click. Now it's saving. Of course.
Oh, it makes it faster to click through. I get it. Awesome.
Let me try this one more time, but okay. I don't know why this is happening right now, but once you click, it will load into your sidebar. So like if I want to go to the 65%, I can just click this and automatically change to right over here, 65%. I want to go back to 100, I click, and now it'll take me back to 100%. So okay. That was really the idea is if there are popular reports that you look at that you constantly change the customizations for, the templates are what you're going to want to build out for yourself. Like they're not ones that we make, but more so ones that you can use for yourself.
I can mess with this on the IB by rejection too.
Exactly.
Add all those in for the weekdays.
Yeah. So over here, awesome. You can see like all the templates you have. So if you go to the by rejection report, and then now what I have is the rejection with the close above the midpoint, the rejection with the close below the midpoint, and then the default. So you can see my setting right now is above the midpoint of the IB. If I just click default, it will automatically change to all days. So instead of having to click the customization, instead of having to click over here, instead of having to click all this stuff, you can just do it in one click and just have above, below, and default and automatically change.
Sweet.
Yeah. But I just wanted to show you that because I think once people get used to the new update, like I'm assuming it'll take a couple of days, but once they get used to the new update, I'm assuming they'll start to kind of get into it more. But,
yeah, I'll go and mess with that after stream.
Yeah. I'll pull up your screen again.
Awesome.
Yeah. I just wanted to show you that because I think it'll be a pretty big improvement in terms of the user experience.
Yeah, thank you. So we were 10 cents off of London 50 for that entry on longs. But we did form. So Q's is at a IB high. We need SPY to take a new high, and then those line up. SPY isn't really moving all that much. 56-cent opening candle. I will more than likely, unless, I mean, we could fulfill both of them if we take a new IB low, and then as long as the gap doesn't fill all the way down to 619, that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty big gaps today across the board. Was there a catalyst overnight?
It was, I think it was the Iran conflict ending.
Oh, yeah.
One of the guys in here said it could have been TSM earnings, which they are up 5% off, but I think it was Iran because it started at like 9 o'clock last night with this move, and then 12 a.m. we just went straight up for the entire time.
Yeah, oil is down.
I think it was Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have any other data
yesterday, so it might be that actually.
We just have a handful of speakers today, and that's it. Just made a pretty quick new high as well. SPY didn't quite get up there. If you go to I don't know if you trade longer time frames as well, but the 24-hour, we're in this nasty pennant from October. That's why we've been so bare on price action recently.
Yeah.
We have at most another 7 days in it.
Yeah. You think it'll squeeze out to the top and then new all-time high?
I don't know. The reason I didn't take that trade yesterday was because of the Trump tariff news.
Yeah.
So I think if the Supreme Court rules in favor of him, then we're gonna push it. I think that's all what's pending on though. Without the catalyst, it's gonna be weak.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. No decision Friday. No decision yesterday. The next vote's gonna be on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which kind of stinks, but it buys us some more time to have maybe bullish price action, or we just stay within this chop.
Yeah. I'm just adding my account to the live stream here so people can join there too. I just added it.
Awesome.
It should be good.
I see it in the top right.
Yep. So one thing I'm sure some people are thinking about it. I don't know how often you talk about the ultimate reversal.
Mm-hmm.
It is in play today, technically, but very low, I would say very low probability here.
Yep.
Now, the outside day is a different story. That previous day's high being hit, not out of the question, but the gap fill and the midnight open, I mean, it would be a Hail Mary to go for that right now.
Yeah, I think at most, if we get an IB low and target the IB low, we probably London low, pre-market low, 622. I don't know if we'll get that far.
Yeah.
We're at London 50 now.
By the way, you talk about the 50 a lot, like and you mean the halfway point, obviously, right? Or
yep. Yeah, 50%.
So I'm not sure if you use the market sessions indicator, but we actually just put the midline of the sessions in it. So I'll just show you. I'll show you quickly. If you're interested, I don't know if this is like if it fits your style or not. I'll just pull up my screen quick.
Okay, you can add it in. Since I only use the IB, the IB 50 tracks it for the first.
Oh, you mean the IB 50, not the session 50.
Oh, I have all those marked. I have pre-market 50 on there, previous days 50, and then the gap fill as well.
And do you do it manual? Like, would you want an indicator for that?
Yeah, if you wanted to make one for London 50, it's just pre-markets 4 to 9:30 open.
All right, I'll message you about that because we'll do that.
I got to bounce off London. If you're looking at my screen right now, that's the level we just hit perfectly. It's getting a little reaction there. Alerts on the 50.
Oh. For the IB indicator, would you want to be able to set an alert on TradingView for when price touches the 50?
Yeah, that's what someone in my other stream was just asking in the Discord portion. So if you wanted to add in an alert for that, that'd be awesome.
I will do that.
Like yesterday I'm very disappointed in Ticket, but that was as perfect as it gets. Hit at 10:27. I just wasn't buying it with I thought it was a reversal off the no ruling for the tariffs, and then it hit within 15 minutes. I was just shaking my head on stream.
I mean, you can't really beat yourself up when there's that big of a catalyst. Like if they ruled against it, the market, like you don't know what could have. I mean, I'm assuming it would have flushed, honestly, but
yeah, exactly.
I was not expecting a rule against it, to be honest.
Friday was that's why I didn't take the short as well. Friday we had the no ruling, and we had the immediate wick down to 619.13, and then it came all the way back up to 624 within 20 minutes.
Yeah,
took out the IB high. That's why I avoided it.
Okay, question about the alerts.
Yep.
Alerts on price touching the IB high, the IB low, the midpoint.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Should we do the extensions also?
You could. I don't trade that portion of it, so I don't think I would use it.
Okay.
But for anyone that might use the extensions, you can use it for half standard deviation or 1. Man, I should have taken that long right there. What was I doing?
Am I distracting you?
No, not at all. That was a 50-point bounce off London 50, though. Very nice. We're right back at IB 50 as well. SPY is not all that exciting today.
Yeah, the wicks on the downside below the orb 50 is nasty on the 5-minute for ES right now.
Yeah,
like seems very bullish, at least, and the 1 hour is pretty bullish too. The 30 minutes pretty bullish as well.
What's going on with my camera here? A little blurry. He asked, where was it? His name's Freedom Trader. He asked if you can make the alerts optional if you do add it in.
No, of course. You would have to manually set the alert, and then you would decide if it only triggers once or triggers whatever. Like it would not like blow up your trading view alerts. You would have to manually click like when price crosses up the IB high, like alert me.
There we go.
There, you're back.
I don't know why that got a little blurry. All right, now we're back over previous day's high. We're also over that trend line top. That was a beautiful bounce off London 50. We can hopefully look for 627.26, and then we'll start looking for a retest of the IB to go long.
So what do you have plotted there? Like what's the like what that's QQQ obviously.
Yep. So I have extended trading session on.
Yeah.
It's London low. I call it London low. It's really just a pre-market range.
Yeah.
So 4 a.m. low to whatever highs formed by 9:30.
Okay.
It's just pre-market high, pre-market low, and then the 50% of that. And then the larger one is, I know I have these other two lines. Those two lines are the pennant that we're in.
Yeah.
And then the 15-minute previous day's range is just 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. of previous day. So whatever high or low. And that's what I usually use for the inside bar stat.
Okay. And you plot those manually?
Yep.
If you want.
There's probably an indicator for it. I just like the way that the Gone box looks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make you change your whole thing, but if you wanted to use the IB indicator, you can just add another one to your chart and then change the start and end time to be 4 a.m. to 9:30, and it plots accurately. Gotcha.
Thank you, Ike. Ike just sent $5 in again. My man Zinc consistently crushing it. Let's go. Thank you again, awesome. Ike. What is going on with my camera today? Maybe it's the blue. It doesn't like the blue. I also just like plotting them manually, like what you were saying on your tweet yesterday about using the skills. If you don't use them, then you lose them.
Oh, dude. Like, are you saying referring to plotting the levels? So you'd rather just like manually plot them? Yeah.
Yep.
I totally get that. But yeah, dude, I always think about that. I'm like, if people just continue to outsource everything, like all their work, all their problem solving, like everything to AI, like there's literally nothing on the planet that if you don't use it, you lose it. Like,
yep.
Like it applies literally across the board to everything. So I totally get it.
Just be stupid on charting after. That's why I don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
Or really anything. You turn to a little brain rot kid.
Exactly, dude. That's the concern.
Well, guys, I guess since we have Andre on stream, that we can blame him for the
garbage
price action.
Yeah, there was probably like an 8-week period where every Wednesday I would go on Spaces on Twitter, and every Wednesday had price action like this. And I was like, you know what, guys? I think I'm just going to skip the next one and like give the viewers a decent trading day.
Yeah. At least you weren't here last week. This week's world's better than last week. Last week we had SPY and Qs inversing each other for the first hour every single day.
Oh my God, yeah, that was terrible.
But Tuesday, and that's the one that we capitalized on the IB.
Yeah.
But every other day was, oh my gosh. And last Thursday also makes 6 trading days in the past 3 weeks that the IB hasn't broken, after going all of last year and only had 3 days that didn't break.
I know, that's been crazy, honestly.
96% stat now.
Yeah.
Still really good, but not as good as it was. 2% off. So looking at or maintaining the low, and I mean, this is one of the smaller ranges we've probably seen on it. I think we're fighting to maintain upside because of how low of a chance it is to reverse this entire thing. But at the same time, we've probably already exhausted our move to the upside with the size of the gap. It's kind of a stalemate right now.
Yeah.
250 points is what we're sitting at for a move.
Are you interested in the shorts?
If it gets a retest of the IB and we go short, yeah. Right now, my bias is short for the IB trade. Form the high first. Yesterday I got something on stream, question for the IB indicator, because I get asked this quite often with which. Okay.
Sorry, I just put my headphones in. All right, go ahead.
So for the IB indicator, I get asked quite often which high or lows form first. Because like Thursday, for example, last week, we had a new low formed by maybe, actually, I don't remember which day it was. One of the days last week, we had a new low form that was like 10 cents lower than the previous one. And a lot of people thought the high was still formed first. So if there would be a way that you could highlight or change the color of which one was formed first, I don't know if that would be possible. I don't need it. It's just for.
It is in the what's in play on the actual site itself. So if you go to the IB by rejection report in the what's in play, it will tell you which one forms first.
All right.
So that's the short answer. But yeah, I'm not sure how it would actually like display. Maybe we can add like a little dashboard to the IB indicator and like plot the size or whatever else. But yeah, it is in the what's in play. That's really the purpose of the what's in play, because you also get the data, like the edgeful data. And one of the reasons that you can't rebuild the data into TradingView is because TradingView has a limit on how many bars back it can look. Yeah. Gotcha. So if you're on a 1 minute and you want to look back 6 months, like it can't go back that far. So.
Yep. Bob said, if the IB doesn't play out today, tell Andre that he's the bad luck charm.
I won't join again.
I think my camera doesn't like the blue. I don't know what hasn't done this before. And it's the first time I've worn this sweatshirt. So,
dude, it's because I'm here.
Just taking all the bad luck today.
Yeah.
There we go. It just needs to come focus over here. Oh. So it might be one of these days where we do fulfill both stats. We don't have a gap fill, but we also have a bearish bias on the IB stat. Yeah. We have 20 minutes to go, 27 minutes to go and take a new high, so it's still possible. But this has got to be the smallest range I've seen so far on SPY.
So you look at the SPY and you trade the ES, and you look at QQQ and you trade NQ?
Yeah, and the reason being, I found this a little while back. If you go, it's not all the time, but for some days, if you go to the IB on MNQ or Qs,
yeah, the
stats are off by like 6 to 7%, sometimes even up to 10%, depending on the weekday.
Okay.
And
isn't it crazy how they don't move the same way?
Yeah, and it's because MNQ has slippage on it. Qs doesn't have as much. They move relatively the same, but like the example I just gave, MNQ will make a marginally new low off of slippage. ES will do the same thing, but Qs holds the IB low or high.
Yeah, people don't know that MNQ and NQ move differently.
Yep. So I use Qs because I think it's more reliable. Same with ES as well.
Yeah.
And there's been several occasions where MES I've seen break the IB low, but SPY hasn't.
Yeah.
So kind of weird there. How do you know the bias? I'm just basing it off of the gap fill stat. If it doesn't end up filling, then that validates. But at the same time, if we have a bearish bias for the IB, I'll take that. Or you might not have to take anything. And then the other one that I line up, I'm sure you've seen me say this, is that SPY and Qs have to line up for the IB. That's why I didn't take it really at all last week.
Yeah.
But if you go and look at last Thursday and last Wednesday, it happened on both days. SPY was targeting the IB high, Qs was targeting the IB low, and they both, aside from Thursday, Wednesday, they both fulfilled that stat, which was really weird to see. SPY took the low out. It had its double break, but still Qs took the high while SPY was taking the low.
Mm-hmm.
That was very odd. Right there. And they almost took it at the same time, too, which was even stranger because they should be moving exactly the same. Kowalski said, all brokers lagging, kind of red flag for me right now. I know Tradebait did have some issues last night. All right, let me, I genuinely think it's a sweatshirt. Let me change my sweatshirt real quick.
Yeah, I think you're right that, I don't know if you can hear me anymore, but for the viewers, I think that you're right about the upside move being a little bit exhausted. I mean, for the people who trade Globex, like I know a lot of people do really well trading that overnight session. I've never done it before, but the moves are so big that it's like, I feel like maybe I'm going to start to look into it, honestly.
On what?
Globex, like the overnight session. Like some of the moves are so big.
That's the move that I took on gold last night.
I know. I just like never even thought to trade the overnight, and people do it all the time. And I'm like, the moves are huge sometimes.
We have a rule in here: no trading gold for New York session. And
why the ranges like just disappear.
Yeah, I mean, you go and look at what it does for Asia session, and it's trendy as can be. And then you pull up New York, and it was as flat as it could possibly be yesterday.
Yeah.
And then the other reason, if you go and pull up this is what I was joking about yesterday, the IB by rejection on gold for Wednesdays is 50-50 across it was 50-50. It's going to be a little different now because it did break the high yesterday, but it was 50-50 across the board once it loads. Yeah, there you go. So because it took the high out, it changed it a little bit, but this was 50-50, 50-50 on all four of them.
Wild.
So we do not trade gold during New York in here. It was the sweatshirt. My camera's all fixed. No more blue, I guess.
Now you know. No more edgeful blue sweatshirts?
No. My YouTube feed's like 5 seconds delayed. Yeah, it's not really much I can do about that. It's main Wi-Fi. Did we just make a new IB low? We did. That actually perfect example right there, Andre. That made a new IB low by 2 cents on Qs.
And yeah, NQ was 6 ticks, 1.5 points from the low, like new low on NQ. Yeah, it's just weird how, and then I'll check MNQ right now. Wow, what a difference. That low of that candle is 5.5 points.
Yep.
On MNQ. And then if you go to NQ, it's 1.5 points.
Even on Qs too.
Whoa.
And there's your slippage.
Insane.
So that's why I do not chart it on MNQ or NQ, because there's just added variables for no reason.
Interesting. I've never seen, I mean, I don't really look at the discrepancy that much. I just know that it happens because a very long time ago, before I knew that that was a thing, the results of the reports were different for MNQ and NQ. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Like,
yeah, what's going
why
on?
Why is that the case? And now, obviously, I realized, but
the worst I've seen it be is 12 points.
Whoa. This is pretty big. I mean, 5.5 points is.
Yeah, that's enough to completely get you out of a trade. Especially if it's a wick that didn't even happen, technically didn't even happen on MNQ because NQ didn't go that low. That would make it even more frustrating.
So when you set your targets, you do it based on the chart. Oh, on the Qs. Wow. Interesting.
So it doesn't, the only thing that I put on, so if I enter a short right now, for instance, the only thing I put in is a stop at the IB high. The reason I don't set a take profit on MNQ is because sometimes Qs takes it, MNQ doesn't. So I'll just go and exit all.
Yep.
But I've seen it on several occasions where it will take the low on MNQ and Qs will, I think it even happened yesterday, really quick. Actually over here on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So we see how this one took it by maybe like 3 cents, 4 cents.
Yep.
MNQ was way down at what would have been the equivalent of like 623.60.
Yeah.
And then it jumped way back up. So it just it helps keep the variance down.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that much. I mean, also just one thing for anyone who's, I always try to say this because I think a lot of people struggle with this, but if you look at the candles right now on ES, NQ, even the Qs, and you go to like a 5-minute chart, what you see is a lot, like if you look at the total candle, the ratio of the body to the wicks is like, it's very wick dominant right now, which means like the way that I interpret that is like, obviously a lot of chop, obviously a lot of fake outs. So for anyone who's like, okay, the move down is coming now, and they get short, and then it just bounces. And, okay, the move down is coming this time. They get short, and it bounces. Like wait for some more confirmation. I say that only because I'm sure that there are people watching that are taking every time it falls the shorts, and they just get bounced on, because even on ES, like the wick on the 950 candle was almost 10 points, that bottom wick. On that 950 candle on NQ was 60 points on the 5-minute. Like it's a lot. Like it's definitely enough to take you out of the trade.
For the IB right now, we're looking at, from a perfect entry at the midpoint, you're looking at $30 profit on one MES up or down.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Do you trade options?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the premium's been terrible recently. I think it's because the VIX has been maintained below 16 for so long. But I mean, I've been kind of at a standstill for those. I haven't been able to do much.
And do you sell or buy?
I sell cash geared puts.
Do you ever do spreads, credit spreads?
I haven't. No, the main reason is because I haven't been able to qualify for the level 3 is what you need on Webull to do credit spreads.
Okay.
Which kind of stinks. But this is the type of price action that I tell everyone that if you get stuck in a loss, these are the days that you blow your accounts because you're never going to get directional movement to catch up to what you're down. And then you end up just hitting $200 loss over and over and over again.
And that's on the options for everyone. The reason that I actually recommend, if you're trading a direction, like if you want to be long or short, I recommend futures over options, like without a doubt, is because not only do you need to pick the right direction, but you need to be right on the time. You need to pick the right strike, you need to pick the right expiration. Yes, the returns can be bigger because they kind of grow exponentially as price goes in your favor. But honestly, like most people, like when most people get attracted to options because they're using, they see other people trade SPX 0DTE options and they see like, oh, this guy had 1,000% winner today. Like 1,000% is crazy. Like, of course it is. But, and I'm sure there are a lot of losses that they don't show, but in that case, you also need to hold to 1,000%. So like, that's really hard. Like that's something that people don't talk about. Like holding for 1,000% is like very, very, very difficult, even if it's for runners. Because when you're at 500%, like to think that it's going to run for another 500% is so unbelievably greedy that like, it's just so rare that it even happens.
I can't even do that on futures. All my trades are like $50. Last 3 nights in a row this week, I've missed $400 on one gold contract, one MGC.
Yeah. It's just more consistent though. It really is more consistent.
Yeah, it's the greed that will screw you over with that.
Exactly. How's the load speed now, by the way?
What was that?
How's the load speed on the site?
It's better than it was.
Okay, good.
But as I was saying, it's just the first time. I haven't loaded the Thursday report yet, so it took a little longer. But now that I go and flick through them, it loads instantly.
Yeah.
So it's just the first time loading them. Right now we have, it's not really that good of a stat for Thursday, but this is playing catch up because we didn't miss two Thursdays, Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
That's why the stat's a little bit lower than it should be. This was all the way down to 40% last week, but the past 2 Thursdays, it's also struggled to even break the low. Last Thursday, we didn't have a break the IB at all, even with the high form first. I have noticed that even when you don't break the IB, it usually gravitates towards the direction that data is pointing that it should break, which is nice. But off of your point as well, I was just talking about this with silver, is you see, and there's no reason anyone should be trading a silver contract on futures right now. It's $92, $93, whatever it's at. CME raised it that you need 80,000 to trade a contract of silver, but you see people on social media that post $50,000 wins because they go 5 silver longs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Quite literally, if you're on a 50, even 150K account on silver, you're going to blow your account with 1 wick in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Especially like this just now 30-cent wick to the upside. That's $1,500 on 1 contract.
The GC contracts, like the minis, are $100 a point. I never traded the metals, but like that's crazy. That's a lot.
Have you tried silver?
No, never.
That's $25 a tick. And one cent is 1 tick.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So a 4-cent move is $100. At least on gold, it doesn't move as fast as silver does. Yeah. But like one night I tried on Tradeify and it was like $1,000 in maybe 18 seconds. It was
I mean,
20
it's
cents.
good if it goes in your favor, but sucks if it doesn't.
Yeah, I had no idea that's how fat. That was when it was trading at 70 as well.
Yeah.
Which indicator lets you see?
All right. I'll be right back.
Which indicator lets you see 0.5 levels of the orb on your QQQ chart on your screen? This is not the orb. This is the initial balance, which I guess is technically the orb. It's just the orb of an hour. And you can also get that on any of the edgeful indicators. So I think they should have an orb on here. If you didn't want that, you could go to the same initial balance and just change it from 9:30 to 9:45, and that's your 15-minute orb. And then it also adds the middle level one right here. And you can add whatever variable you want for the middle levels. You can add 25%, 75%. I just prefer to have the 50% on there. All right, we're shaping up to take an IB low. We have another 4 minutes before we can get into the trade. That's the front run time frame. Good news today is that if we do happen to take a loss on the trade, it's only going to be like maybe $75, $80. If we take the trade on the MES, it's $30 from the midpoint up and down right now. So that's what we'll be taking a look at. I'm going to be targeting the low. Now, as I've been saying all morning as well, this might be a day where we don't get a gap fill, but we do also have a bearish bias for the IB. This is the IB on MNQ right now. Our high is 25.954, low 25.834, so 120 points. Our range is only 60 points from the midpoint, meaning our risk is 120, 120, which isn't very much. And if we were taking the same trade on MES is right at 50%, so I might opt with this one today, and we can do 2 instead of 1. The only reason I would do 2 is because our range is a whopping, what are we looking at? 711. So our range is 15 points. No, that's not right. 17 points. So whatever 7 and 8.5 works out to be. It already hit the IB 50, yes, but we still have another 10 minutes before the IB is formed. So in those 10 minutes, we could go all the way up and form a new IB high. We could form a new IB low. You don't want to front run it too soon.
Yep.
10:23 is my time frame for it. I'll probably end up taking on MES today. It's only going to be $60. Not even. It's going to be $40.
Do you consider the opening candle continuation too?
I do on days where it's like 50-50 for the, I guess not 50-50, days where we don't have a gap like this.
Yeah.
Because if we have the opening candle continuation and that first 30-minute candle is red for today, but we're still at 0.9%, I know it's not good to say that I don't believe the data on that point, but I just don't see it likely that we're going to have a red close on the day. But I use it in line with the screener because I do like it for the individuals. That one I think tells a little bit better. But again, it's mostly on the days that we have like a 0.2% gap, maybe not a 1.5% gap.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that I say all the time, this is what you said to me on the onboarding call that we had, is the more this looks like a Christmas tree, the less likely I am to trade for the day. This is lit up like a Christmas tree. Red, green, green, red, red, green, red, green.
Yep. Yeah, it's it really paints the picture for people, which I'm happy you remembered it.
Yeah, I say it just about every day.
Yeah.
SPY also has a little bit better of a chance of breaking the IB low. But we do 7 minutes. So if SPY goes and takes a new IB high, Qs doesn't, then not going to take anything. That's why I wait for as close to 10:30 as I can get.
Yep.
Seems like a range day. That it does. This is the smallest range I've seen on the IB for probably the closest one we got was the half day that we had. And that was way back here.
Yeah.
December 21st, December 31st.
You know what's funny? You'll just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of the roadmap specifically for AI. Pretty much you'll be able to ask when there's a gap up, when there's a gap up greater than X%, how often does the IB by rejection, like if the high is formed first, how often is a low break?
Yep.
Or whatever else. Like you'll be able to like look at the same way that you've been saying, I only introduce the opening candle if this. So you'd be able to actually go through and say, how often does the opening candle impact this other stat? How often does this happen as it relates to a new high being made? Whatever. Like in this case, actually, ironically, what you were just saying is if you front run, I'm assuming there's gonna be a new high on ES right now.
Yeah.
If you front run the short,
just took it.
And there it is. So if you front run the short, you would be obviously taking a loss right now because now the low is actually formed first. But like if you see today on NQ, the high is formed first, on ES, the low is formed first. If you were to combine those and say, how often does the individual stats play out on days when there's a big divergence, it'll actually be able to tell you that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've been really trying to go ahead.
I said I'm not going to take this today now because we just kind of screwed that on SPY.
Yeah.
But that's awesome to hear. Less work for me to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like trying to make it as easy as possible, obviously, to like understand what you're doing in terms of like the data analysis side. Like I know that not a lot of people like data and like data analysis. So if they can just talk in English and get the answers they want, that's what we're really trying to do with the AI.
Awesome.
Like it's not going to be this like holy grail. Like for anyone who's watching, if you think that AI is going to become this like stock market trading holy grail, you are mistaken, of course. But just being able to talk in English and get the answers you want about whatever trades you want to take or the bias that you have or whatever else, that's what we're going to be building out.
Sweet. Well, this stinks.
Yeah.
I can still somewhat take the low, but with that just taking the high, it's a 62% stat that we would try to counter. Qs looks a lot weaker. SPY obviously just took that high, so it needs to go and take the high for it to validate the stats.
Yeah.
And Alexander's comment here, why going long, we didn't form the first high. That was what I was mentioning earlier with and you said wouldn't really be feasible, but sometimes you form a new high by a couple cents that some people don't see because you think you still have that high on the first candle. So it's a little tricky to see if there was a way it could tell you, but that's what edgeful has on the IB. It says the high formed, or it says forming, and then which side you can go and target.
Yeah, you can go to the what's in play and just pull up the IB by rejection report, and then you'll see all of them, like which side formed first, and also the data behind what's your target now, should you be long or short biased.
Well, like Bob said, I guess we can blame Andre for today. The IB just countered each other.
You're welcome, everyone.
The only thing that I might do, because we did see this happen last week, they both fulfilled their stat on last Wednesday, even though they were inversing. I'm probably not going to take anything today because they're inverse now, and I don't really anticipate much of a continuation outside of this.
Yeah.
What I will add is that for the days that we do have, I messaged you, I think it had to have been like 6 months ago for this. One of the days that we hit 4.5 on the expansion.
Yep.
And that was an IB that formed very similar to this. So if we have some news that comes out in the afternoon, and let's say
I see.
pennant that we're in, these are the only days that I see, like if you pull up the expansions once this IB is formed here,
Yeah.
4.5 would probably be out all the way at like 635, and news would push us to that for a day like this. Like SPY, this is a 17-point IB on SPY,
which is crazy.
I don't think I've seen one this low. So 8.5 points from the midpoint entry.
Yep. And NQ looks like it wants to go for low of day, new low of day.
Yep.
Specifically New York session, obviously.
And that's haven't been able to get below London 50 yet.
Wow, it looks like it's about to crack that low right now.
Held on by a little tiny bit.
Yeah, by 2 points.
Unless some miracle happens in the next minute that SPY goes and takes a new IB low, 60 cents. I don't see a trade set up on this for today.
Yeah, and that's something else that I think is important for people to see, is that you're not going to take a trade if the setup is not there. It's not like, oh, I'll wing it with lower risk, and then this like low risk day turns into like a blown account. Because they're like, I shouldn't have taken that trade. Now it ends up being a loser. Now you're like, okay, I want to just be break even again. And then you end up with like a giant loss.
Yep. And this is the worst type of day that you can try to rebound from as well.
Yeah.
Because there's no rebound with no direction.
Yeah.
Turret buddy, I should have longed that first one, that first London 50 reaction. That would have been like 50 points, I think. But ultimately, it's not a day to force a trade on or force a hand on. I do think that Q's is going to, what we might do here, I'm going to rub my crystal ball. I think Q's will go up to IB 50 as SPY takes the IB high. And then once SPY fulfills that stat, Q's will probably reject and go to the IB low. Which happened 2 days last week. That's why I'm so familiar with it.
Do you ever look at equities?
I look at NVDA. That's about it, because that's the largest holding in both of them, or close to the largest holding in both of them. But for the most part, I just have golds, SPY, and Qs pulled up.
Yeah. Yeah. NVIDIA, well, Meta's making new high on a pretty decent run. These last 3 5-minute candles are almost 1%. Pretty solid.
I actually haven't looked at them because I go over to the edgeful screener, and that gives me the
way to do it.
Direction for where they go.
Yeah.
Fewer tabs for me to pull up. So like I was just saying, the expansion levels now, I mean, 1.5 expansion on the IB isn't even a gap fill for SPY today. So if we do have news that comes out that gives us that ultimate reversal that you mentioned this morning, that would probably also target like a 3 standard deviation hit for SPY on the IB. Which is kind of misleading when you go and look back at the stats.
I think you can filter for sizes too. I'm pretty sure you can. In that by levels report, you can filter for, so you can actually like, so if you go to the customization and you go any size, the second one at the top left.
Right there. Right. I gotcha.
So if you do the really small ones, and then you can filter, you can't do like less than like X amount, but you can do like less than whatever percent. And I'll tell you what
less
the
than 0.2%. What is that range that we have today?
0.22 actually. I mean, you can kind of ballpark. I would lean towards more to the point. Actually, there's probably not that many, which is the problem.
Yeah.
So it's 0.22, but the thing is, if you go to 0.2 to 0.39, the range is going to be a lot bigger. So a lot of them are going to be fit into like the 0.3 area. But I mean, you can always try it. You just have to click, make sure to click save on the bottom.
Did I click save?
No, scroll down and then click save. Yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't, it's about as bad as it gets for expansion. So this, what I would see from this, this is for a Monday. Hold on. How did I do that? All of them on there. Yeah,
we need to fix this like weekday selection. It's There's a different methodology to do each of them, but we're improving slowly with these
Awesome.
smaller things.
So at most for today, we probably have up to, I'll just slap the standard deviations on there. We have up until like 695 on SPY is what I'm getting off of this. And like you said, this also adds in either like 0.3 to all the way up to 0.39.
Yeah.
So we do not blow your ports today. Do not blow your funded accounts. Can't believe I'm going to say this, but can we just fast forward to Asia session so I can get some trades out there?
So you can trade the metals?
Yeah. And we're about to do what I was just saying. SPY is going to go take the high. I bet once it gets to that high, we probably go and take the low because it's lined up right at 50% for Qs. As itchy as I am to get into a trade, the reason that I'm not is I always refer to this day and wherever it is. Tuesday, December 23rd was one of those days that we did form the IB low on Qs, but SPY did not. So they were targeting different levels. I ended up taking a loss on this day because SPY dragged Qs all the way up to the IB high. Yeah. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. If I'm not entirely certain that we should go and take the IB low, there's no reason for a trade to be taken. Like SPY just about the IB high, so that one would have worked out. At the same time, Qs is targeting a completely different statistic. And Bob said that Andre guy is a real bad luck. IB high is taken on SPY, so that would have been a whopping. I worked perfectly had they lined up. It's the sad part.
Yeah.
Qs just had to hold the new high, but that was 50% on the IB. Immediate push to the IB high for a whopping 7-point reward. And now you can see, Andre, why I use the 50% mark so much.
Yeah, I know we had built the close for if it closes above or below. Like if the 1030 candle is above or below the midpoint. But if there's anything else you want us to build into the IB buy rejection, let me know because
I think that's this one, it looks like it would have been a little fishy because it closed 1 cent underneath on SPY. So it was technically below the IB and then it just took the high.
Yeah.
Now let's see if Qs end up going and taking the low on this. No trade on the IB obviously today, guys. Sorry about that. But not really anything that we can do. If anyone did happen to take it on SPY, congratulations. You just made $35. The midpoint is 50-50 to go up and down on the IB. No, the 50 is just where I look for a retracement to go long or short on the IB. The reason that I did not take the entry today is because SPY was targeting the high, Qs is targeting the low for the IB. 1,082 people in here. Thank you for tuning in.
It's good. It's good. What's up, guys? Sorry for ruining your trading day today.
You ruined our good Thursday.
I know. Thursdays usually have a lot of volume too. Big volume.
Thursdays have historically been bad for the IB though.
Really?
Especially on M&Q. If last Thursday we never ended up breaking it. In November, I ended up going on like a 3 or 4 week loss streak on the IB because it countered. But you can see it on the measure for the IB as well in Qs. That's why it's a 53-38 stat.
Yeah.
And let's go let's add in 1 year, see how much that changes it. Not by much.
Yep.
So Thursdays are pretty rough for the IB. And this is a perfect example of why I don't take it when they don't line up, because this is looking like it's going to be one of those days where this one just ends up getting taken up with SPY. SPY is a lot stronger today. Hopefully tomorrow or next Tuesday, ideally tomorrow since Monday's closed, hopefully that's when we get out of this pennant and we can get back to our regularly scheduled program of continued price action. The IB did work best from like June until October when we had directional movement. And I think every strategy suffers the same when we go into a consolidation period.
Yeah.
Just waiting for an expansion.
I noticed you don't consider the wicks on the triangle.
Nope. So I just go with the line of best fit. Okay. I try to fit as many bodies in as I can, but if like for the wick top, obviously I'm not going to draw it to kind of avoid these ones.
Yeah.
So whatever, I prefer the bodies because I think those have more validation behind them than the wicks, because there could be slippage on the wicks. There could be, yesterday's a really good example of that as well. Yesterday, that wick low that we made, and that's the main reason I didn't take it. This wick happened in all of 9 seconds yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was $1.20, and that was because of the tariff news. So I took on M&Q, but to lose. It's still targeting the low. It hasn't broken the high yet. It's holding on. We had, lucky enough this week, we had 2 back-to-back perfect shows. Actually 3 on SPY now. Perfect examples of how the IB's supposed to work. 50% entry. This one was at 10.27 yesterday. The best one for me so far this week was Tuesday. Back-to-back Tuesdays, crushing it on it. This one was a little bit of a sweat, but ultimately came all the way back down. Something important to add in is when you're entering, this is what I like to do with the IB. When I enter the trade, I'm automatically expecting it to lose. So whatever my loss is, as long as I'm okay with taking that loss, I'll enter the trade. And that also helps you guys not exit the trade too early. So if I enter right at 50%, I know that my stop loss is at the high, my take profit's at the low. The invalidation of this trade is if the IB high breaks. That's why I don't move my stop loss in between the levels. My invalidation IB high, validation IB low getting taken. As long as price stays within that range, there's no reason for you to get stopped out of the trade. And that's the same for M&Q for today. Although not taking it on a day like today because they're not lined up. But if it were like Tuesday, they're lined up, your only reason to get out of the trade isn't because you don't feel good in the trade anymore. It's when the trade's invalidated. That'll save you from a lot of premature losses as well.
Yeah, speaking of the invalidation, sometimes, and I actually talk about this on the streams on Monday and Friday, but I'll tell James Bruce, I'm like, I want to take this trade, but my stop is too big. Like, I don't want to take a 70-point stop on NQ. Like, it's just too big. Like, I want to get a better entry. And I'm not going to take a loss. I'm not going to set my stop loss in an area where I'm like, okay, I'm okay losing whatever, $1,000, where instead I need to place my stop loss above this high because the IB double break is whatever, doesn't have a high percentage. Like, I place my stop. I always try to place my stops in an area where my trade idea is invalid, not where my dollar risk is something I'm okay with. And if I'm not okay with that dollar risk, I usually need to stop that.
Very good. That's exactly what I do. That's why I take one M&ES or one M&Q on everything for the first entry.
Yeah. Do you always take profit at the break of the IB?
Yep.
Full profit? You never leave runners?
No, the reason being is, and I should leave runners, but it's pretty hard when I only take one M&Q. Very few times, and now I could add like another 50 cents on, because I do see that when the IB breaks, it usually expands by 50 cents.
Yeah.
On that same note, going over to Tuesday on Qs, this is what I see happen a lot of the time as well.
Yeah.
The IB gets taken and then it immediately snaps.
Yep.
And versus SPY happened last, where was it? Happened on Friday as well last week. SPY and Qs both. It broke it at like 10:30 and 6 seconds on both of them, and then it immediately snapped and went to 50%. And that goes to the IB by retracement. But the reason that I take full profit is because I'm just viewing it as this 96% stat.
Yep, exactly.
Once it loads. So just the regular breakouts happens 96% of the time. For the expansions, some days those are only a 50% chance that you get even half a deviation. Some days it's 75%, but that's I view that as a completely different trade as opposed to the IB. So I just stick with the 96% stat that it's going to break the IB.
Yep.
When I size up and start taking 2 MNQ, 2 MES, then I'll try to leave one runner. I've never left runners though for my entire trading career.
I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I suck at holding positions long.
For me, it's not even that I start to interfere with the trade. It's almost always that my TP1 was the better TP, and I'm only holding a runner because I want to I'm thinking about this giant move of continuation. Yep. And almost always, and you guys will see it on stream, and I'm actually going to go back to full in, full out, not scaling in and out of positions. But when I stream, what you'll see is that my TP1 on my winning trades, obviously on my losing trades, it doesn't happen. But on my winning trades, my TP1 is always the better take profit, and my TP2 or whatever TP3 is always the one that I get stopped out at break even or in slight profit.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. KP also just said the same thing. I'd rather exit full than leave runners. Usually ends up being the same dollar amount when you get trailed at break even on the following trades. Yeah. So we are a whopping 2 cents, 2 ticks away on Qs.
Well, I hope that who was it about to hit the loser?
Mad Trader K2K.
Yeah, Mad Trader. I hope you held on. I'm curious if you did, honestly.
I do think one of the worst things I used to do this too is that you get into a trade that you're not all that confident in, and you end up taking a premature loss and then immediately flipping to long or short on that trade just because you think it's going to continue up. So that's why I just added that point about waiting. When you enter the trade, you're comfortable with the loss. If it does hit your loss, so be it. You were expecting it to. If it hits your take profit, you just validated your trade. Yeah. Bob said you're a prophet, Mr. Zinc. What you said with SPY and Qs exactly worked out. Yeah, there you go.
There it is. There's the break of the IB low on the on NQ.
You got the MNQ one, Freedom? Yep. So make that, I think that's 4 times in a row, Andre, where they've countered each other, but they've both taken their respective level that they were supposed to. Yeah. SPY is going to have a double break now, which is only a 1 in 4 chance of happening.
Yeah. I'm curious if there's going to be some sort of catalyst that's going to just send this lower.
Mm-hmm.
Because the outside days, let me just pull this up. Outside days on NQ is not out of the question now. It's only 28 points away. Outside day standard, 69% reversal back down, and then we go to by weekday. Outside day by weekday on Thursdays. Let's see.
So if we do end up having this reversal today, this is going to be one of those days that it's going to hit like 4 standard deviation.
Yeah.
SPY and Qs. Be crazy rare, but we just validated both of them. So we had the IB high stat fulfilled on SPY, IB high stat fulfilled, or IB low stat fulfilled on Qs, and that would be it for me today. especially with both of these still countering each other. I don't really see there being a reason to trade outside of this 11 o'clock window.
Yeah. One thing I just saw is that NQ outside days by weekday, 88% of the bullish outside days, which is what happened today, have reversed to touch that previous day's high. It's 8 instances in the last 6 months, so keep that in mind. But 7 of the 8 have reversed to touch on NQ what would be today 790.25.
Yeah, that's what we ended up hitting pretty much right at open, 625.88. Or are you talking about the regular trading hours high, which would be 623.44?
Yeah, the New York session high.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the RTH. On QQQ would be the RTH high.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that little significant little bearish first presented fair value gap in the day was around top of the IB50. That's my confluence usually. Just took the short when it trade under the fair value gap for a break of IB low. Nice $100 in the day. There you go. Very good.
Yeah, the reversal to the previous session's high is only 26 points away now on NQ. So if you guys are in a short on NQ, one of the targets to look at, I'm not saying obviously to hold your whole position there, but one of the targets that you can take is at 25,790.25. That's going to be
also,
that previous New York high.
I'm going to take a little premature guess here that for a breakout day or breakdown day on the IB, you probably have a pretty damn good chance of going to half a standard deviation, which is right where that level is.
Yep.
We have a 70% chance. So nice little added confluence there.
And just keep in mind, if you switch back over to edgeful quick, because I think you still have the size customization in there. So you don't have the any size, you have.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, just go one more down. There you go. The custom. Yep. I just want to make sure you have the.
No, that made
so that's all sizes.
So I'll go to today's size. Oops, that's wrong. The price range. Kind of also just adds in why I don't trade after the IB is taken. It's a lot of moving parts. The IB is just nice and simple.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to fix this speed here.
Usually once I load it in with each one of the stats, it goes pretty quick.
Yeah, it's faster.
This is what it was doing to me yesterday. Could also just be my Wi-Fi. I don't have any fancy.
No, I don't think it is, honestly. I don't think
it's coming along. Can't believe they both hit today. One of the main reasons I also don't take that, just so anyone is aware that is trading Apex, you cannot go long and short at the same time on like assets. So gold and silver, you can't counter or hedge. Same with SPY and SPY and MNQ. So if SPY was bullish, MNQ was bearish, I cannot go long on SPY and short on MNQ because that's a breach of their rules and they'll liquidate your account for it. So we have an 80% chance of going to that level for today. 623.29 would be half a standard deviation. And then your 623.44, 45. So 2 pretty good points of confluence to go there. It somewhat lines up with the gap fill by size. I did add in 25% because I like using 25, 50, and I'll add this to the templates later. Be nice and quick. This one I looked at this morning. This was only a 40% chance everyone filled it, but that should line up with where we are right now because we're at 20% so far. So if we get another little continuation down, that should go and tick that 25%. MYM still hasn't broken, has an 86% chance of doing so.
There's another flush down on NQ. We're now 13 points away.
That's why I just had a double break on the IB as well.
Yeah.
Wow, we haven't even had a red candle on this today. MYM. This is delayed, but I don't think it's too far off. Something I would like to add to your point there, Doms, is, and this, you can agree or disagree with this, Andre, let me know what you think.
Yeah.
I like to call it the reversion to the mean, where you have days, like if, let's say the low had formed first today on Qs, it says 87% chance. I don't think it's terribly accurate to that. I think that that's just showing that Thursdays are on a win streak for the IB, which it's on average is about 73% chance that it works out on any given day.
Yeah.
So what I like to do on these days as well, if the high had formed second and we were targeting the IB high to break, may not even take it for a day like this.
Yeah.
Because it seems, what I view it as is it's due a loss. It's overdue a loss.
Yeah.
And then vice versa for 64%, 24%.
Yeah. It's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, there's no right way. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. There's no right way or wrong way to do it, to interpret this, because everyone has a different way of doing it. But it's definitely a good thought. Like, if something is, like, for example, the highest that I've seen the regular IB stats, I think is like 85, maybe 86%.
Yeah.
And like, in that case, like, I'm expecting that to come back down. Like, I'm not expecting you to go from 80 to 90 to like 95, obviously.
Yeah.
I do see a question in here over here about, are you basing the average on 5 years? I'm curious what you think, and I'll answer second.
I don't think that what price action we got 5 years ago matters today. So I like to base it at most. I'll go back a year, maybe 2 years. I like to base it on what the past 6 months of price action is, because that's the market that we're in right now. And
I fully agree.
Like right now, we're also back in, and this one's a little tricky. So you could go back to look at 5 years. The reason I don't is because that's covering 3 different cycles. We had quantitative easing back in 2022. We just finished quantitative tightening, and now we're back in quantitative easing. So it's 3 completely different market cycles that we're going through.
Yeah.
I'd rather get the past 6 months of what the market's doing, because that's going to line up with what the sentiment is. It's going to line up with what the market's trading for, usual moves, average moves, whatever it might be.
Yeah. There's something else that I get this question a lot about back testing. People are saying, like, how far should you back test specifically to the edgeful algos, or like, how far back should I go? And one thing that I constantly, and I think that oh, no, not yet. What I constantly try to remind people is, if you are going to test a strategy over a 5-year period, the assumption is that during that 5-year period, you trade the strategy the exact same way, obviously, throughout the entire period.
Without any human emotion.
With zero emotion, with also not like optimizing to the environment or optimizing for any catalyst or any news. Now think about any institution on the planet. Do you think that there is a hedge fund, a bank, an institution that started a trading strategy in January 1st of 2020 and let it run completely untouched for 5 years? The answer is obviously no. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, no institution would ever do that. It would actually be like irresponsible for an institution to do that, to just be like, yep, we got it, we're good, no need to optimize it, no need to change anything. We're going to trade it the same exact way for 5 years straight. To be honest, that's totally delusional. But when you back test a strategy for that long, that's what you're saying. What if I traded this exact strategy exactly the same way for 5 years straight? So I hope that kind of paints the picture of not doing that, because that's the assumption.
Yep. It was a funny little add-on for that. A vast amount of comments on both those IB videos I made were people saying, oh, this only has a 40% win rate. Don't trade this. This has a 45% win rate. And then I asked them what they were doing, and they're like, "Oh, I'm an FX replay from 2022, and it's showing that this has a 42% win rate. That sucks." A market 4 years ago that isn't even relevant to what we're doing today.
Yeah. Dude, the market's changed fast. Like 6 months, even 3 months sometimes, like things change. It depends on what's going on. Like it's not something that you can just be like, oh yeah, I have data from 3 years ago. It's going to help me now.
Exactly.
So,
another reason why I don't, if you look at my chart, I have these ones because I forgot to take them off. We went so fast through them. Yeah. These aren't going to be significant levels when we get back down. It's going to be significant levels that are formed.
If we get back down.
Exactly. So I think it's hilarious when I see people like, oh, we have an unfilled gap all the way down at 220 on Qs. That should come eventually.
Yeah. No, it won't.
Or they use, they'll have a significant level marked out from a year and a half ago and act like price will have the same reaction once we visit that. And if we ever visit it. But most of the time, the longest I'll leave a level on my chart for, and this is pretty much it right here, is 3 months, maybe 4 months. Because once that's gone, does the average person remember something that happened 3 months ago to the T? Probably not. So price isn't going to remember the same thing either. Q said psych tier level. I'm going to go back to high a day.
Yeah, I was actually waiting. I was gonna say that it was 12 points off, and now just an absolute. I mean, I wouldn't say hammer candle just yet, but like pretty much a hammer 15-minute candle just totally flipped red to green.
This is a port blowing day and a half right here.
Oh, dude, I'm sure the prop firms are happy today.
I can see it now. What typically happens, this is what I tell everyone to avoid. If you find yourself, and Steve, you were a little guilty of this morning. Let's say you find yourself $200 down going to New York Open. So you go into a 5 MNQ trade and you're just targeting 200 profit to get back to break even. Hits your stop loss, now you're down 400. So you go and enter the same trade, you put your take profit at 400. You lose another 200, now you're down 600. This is not the day that you need to put your foot on the gas because there's no directional movement. This is going to have probably 40-point wicks like this all day long, where it's just stopping people out. Now you're down 800. Now you're down 1,000. By the time you get down to 1,000, you're going into trades with no stop loss now, and you'll blow your account probably before noon or before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
and if anyone's experiencing that right now, one thing that I will do is I'll like physically get up. Like physically get away from the screen, because if not, like I haven't done it in a really long time, but like just tilting. And my thing is, if I notice that I start to tilt, first of all, I'm logging out because it's annoying to log back in. And then I'm getting up and I'm walking away. But
too bad you missed that little segment I had on that yesterday too. I get crap for this all the time, but I like to, obviously not when I'm on stream, but if I'm trading by myself, especially during Asia session, I think one of the worst things you can do, if I wasn't streaming, I would not be sitting here staring at the computer. One of the worst things you can do is just sit here and stare into the candles and watch every single cent of a move.
It's hard.
During Asia session, I'll enter a trade. Like last night, I entered whatever time frame it was. Let's see. So I entered at about 6:30. I went in. I bought a TV for my wife to have in our bedroom because she likes watching TV on her laptop in there. I went and set up that TV, fed the dogs, ate dinner, took a shower, and by the time I got back, I was still in the trade, and I just ended up exiting it because I didn't want it through Asia Open.
Yeah.
If I was watching the trade during that time, I'm more inclined to probably average in to more shorts.
Yeah.
While being down $20 or whatever it was. Let's just say 3 points.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined to take more trades if I'm sitting here and just watching and watching and watching and watching, as opposed to getting up and going to play video games or walking the dogs, go outside, like you just said. Get away from the monitor so you're not going to do something stupid.
Yeah,
I love doing with
agree.
the IB trade as well. Like on Tuesday this week, I entered the IB trade and it was about 10:58. It was 2 minutes before we got off stream, which stream is just about to end here. 2 minutes before we got off stream, no way in hell did I sit here for the entire 3.5 hours it took for it to break the IB.
Yeah.
I think I played like 2 games of Age of Empires. I went and took the dogs for a walk, like a 1.5 2-mile walk in the woods.
Yeah.
I check it on my phone periodically, but this all goes back to the point that once I enter a trade, I have the stop loss set, so I'm fine with it losing. I have the take profit set. The trade's valid until it's not. So I'm in the trade until it's invalid. There's no reason for me to be like, Now, on the opposing side of that, I do like to secure profits early. That happens a lot. Profits are profits. It's a little greedy looking for more, I think. So I like to secure when I'm in green. And obviously it's working out for me. I'm just about at this payout on these Apex accounts.
Yeah.
But you do not need to, don't get it twisted and think that you need to sit here and watch what the chart's doing for the entire duration that you're in a trade. And we just actually,
it's hard to do.
Triple break on SPY now.
It's hard to do, but it really helps. It really makes a difference.
So I love getting up and doing anything but trading when I'm in a trade.
Yeah, that's important. All right, are we?
Yeah,
we good to wrap up the stream here?
Yep, we're good. I think this is almost in line with our peak for the week. 1,200 of you in here. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
As always, if you guys enjoyed the stream, drop a little like, follow.
Yeah.
But that will do it for me today. Anything from you, Andre?
No, I mean, be careful, guys. Today's not the day to, like you said, today's not the day to put your foot on the gas. Today's the day to go for a walk. No,
second I close stream, I'm going 15 silver long. I don't know about you.
Yeah, make sure to do the minis, not the micros.
Yep. Have some real gonads for it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you later. Have a great rest of your day.